All right, folks, it is Friday Night Blitz Media Days. We're getting you ready for the 2023 high school football season, and we're going to shine a spotlight on a crew from Anita. They are the Staunton River Golden Eagles, and joining right now the head coach of the Golden Eagles in his 5th year at Staunton River, Coach Shaun Leonard. Coach Leonard, thanks for being on the show.
Jermaine, thank you for having me.
Well, Coach, I got to ask you, it's that kind of interesting, building up the program the last 2 years, playoff bound. In fact, you won a playoff game, kind of an upset in a way, but you know what? At this time of the year, it doesn't matter. Finished up with a 6-6 mark, and of course, you lost in the regional semifinals. 2 straight playoff appearances. Just your thoughts about last year and heading into this year?
We're building. That's the biggest thing. We've got great kids, great community support, and kids are there working in the off season. So, it's hard to tell. You got to have a little bit of luck, but you got to be good at the same time. But we feel like we're a playoff contender team this year as well. So.
And then, obviously, when you look at the season as a whole, I mean, you started right around the COVID era. You talked about the struggles. Do you feel like you're kind of getting the settling and getting that program where you want it to be? Because those first couple of years were kind of hard with COVID.
Very much so. Those first couple of years, we had the 1 year, and then we have to stop because everything shut down. But the last couple of years, for sure, we've started to settle in and get things going the way that we want them to go, and we're starting to see some fruits of those labors.
Obviously, you lose one of your coaches. Obviously. And the fact that, you lose Hunter Shepard.
That's right.
Going over to K-Spring.
That's right.
Had a brain cramp. I don't know why I talked to him earlier.
All good.
Obviously, he's been a part of your program for a while. And just how you think he'll do over there at K-Spring as a head coach?
Yeah, he came in, with me as the head coach. He came in as my defensive coordinator that year. He and I, we've got a great relationship off the football field as well. And I think that I think he's going to do well. He's a very brilliant football mind. I tell him all the time. The last 2 years, he is grown up extraordinary in the coaching profession. He's matured a lot, and I think that's he's got his opportunity to be the head guy now, and I think he's going to do a great job.
What's the biggest piece of advice you've given him? Because obviously you've been in that role. You're being a first-time head coach, and obviously things are different when you're an assistant versus a head coach. So what's the biggest piece of advice that you've given him?
Patience. Patience. Take things, as they come. Don't stress over the little things. Unexpected things are always going to pop up, but control what you control, and when those things pop up, you do the best you can and handle it at the time.
What's neat about you guys? I mean, obviously, it kind of starts with Coach Jeff Highfield and the impact he's had. I mean, his tree is growing with coaches he's impacted. But what has he meant to you personally? Because obviously, he's played a big role. You spent a lot of time, being there with him. Right.
Coach Highfield was as a man of high respect for sure. He always did things the right way, and that was always instilled into us as players. When I was there, we kind of just finished up having a good run, and then Jeff Jr. had graduated, and then we kind of were rebuilding again. But it was never a bad deal, even though we were only winning 2 games or 5 games or whatever it was. We were always building and getting better and doing things the right way, and that's why I think you saw a lot of success in the latter part of his career, because he finally got kids coming in and doing things the right way continuously and having more in each class, and not one and then you got a big class. We had that same thing at Staunton River not too long ago. You graduate a huge class and you got to rebuild. But with Coach, though, I got big respect for him, and what he means to me is a big deal. So.
Now, when you look at the team you have now, who are some of the players we should have our eyes on? Who are kind of your the go-to guys on your team?
Well, we've got several of them. They're rising juniors. They've been starters since they were freshmen, and that's going to be Brady Barnes, Parker. Brain fart myself.
There you go. It's all right.
Parker Chewning, Macon Ayers. We've got Josh Kelly, Trace Pickard, Jamarcus Murphy. I mean, we've got quite a few. We're still a very young team, in my opinion. We're very junior and sophomore heavy. We've got a few seniors, but not many. So I think again, we're going to have more names coming back again next year as well. So.
Now, when you look at your schedule, I mean, it's a pretty strong schedule. 6 teams were in the playoffs. The crazy thing is you have a rematch in the
Yes.
playoffs at Magna-Vista. You're going back to the hole to
going
play
back
them.
to the hole, week 1.
And then obviously you have a county rival. Actually, then you play the county teams.
Yes.
It's Bedford County. You're hosting Jefferson Forest and Liberty. You go to Tunstall and George Wythe, and probably as perfect as you can get. Your bye is in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
And then you get district play going at Lord Botetourt, hosting Franklin County and Northside. You're at William Byrd, and then you're hosting William Fleming. And when you look at that schedule, especially that first game, I'm sure that's going to be a unique thing to play a team that you played in the playoffs last year.
That's right. We're the team that put them out, and now we're the next team that they get to play. So it's I'm sure it'll be kind of a grudge match for them as well. But always good football when we get together. I mean, we've played 4 times total in the history of the 2 schools. Each school had a blowout win, and then the last 2 games they've been very close games. And I've been the head coach in both of those.
It's going to be on that side.
That's right, exactly. So we're 2-2 all time against each other. I think it'll be a great game. They're always a playoff contender themselves. So in order for us to take our next steps as a program, we've got to play those type of teams.
Philosophy-wise, I'm sure it's pretty neat to play a tough schedule. I know some schools have different philosophies with scheduling, but it seems like almost all the coaches I've spoke to, they want to play a tough schedule.
That's right. Well, and every school goes through their ups and downs as well. So what looks like it could be a tough game might not be, or what might not be a tough game will be. So it just all depends on what kind of kids that other teams have at the time. And you take a chance because we make these schedules every 2 years. So it's you take a shot in the dark and be like, all right, I think they're going to be pretty good. So that's somebody we need to put on so we can test ourselves and that type of deal. So, but it's always fun to get some new matchups too.
And for you, Coach, Shaun Leonard, you've seen your fair share of Friday nights in the fall as a player and as a coach. For you personally, what does Friday nights in the fall mean to you, sir?
Sure, it's there's nothing like it, and I don't think there ever will be. Even Saturday football is not. There's nothing like Friday night football. Having your community there to cheer for your team, the work that we put in during the week, our kids put in during the week, for them to go out there and give it everything they have and see the community support. I think there's nothing like it.
For you, Coach, what do you think will be the key for you guys to have a successful season? Because the last couple of years you've had success making the playoffs, and you're starting to get that momentum going of an expectation to make it to the playoffs every year. But what do you think will be the key to doing that this year?
Biggest key is just consistency. Be consistent in our work, doing things the right way. And take care of the little things. Big things take care of themselves after that, and just not making the mental mistakes. And I think now that we're becoming an older team, some of those things should really start to phase themselves out.
You mentioned something that kind of caught my ear. You're talking about you still consider yourself a young team, but I guess with these players and as much as they've played, I guess there is that expectation of success because you've had some success recently.
Well, our rising junior class, they've played 22 games in the 2 years. We ended up losing one their freshman year due to shutdowns and that type of deal. But they've played 22 games. They've won 10. But this, that's what this class has done is win throughout, even in the middle school rec leagues and stuff. So that has been their mentality, their expectation is that we win, but we're going to do things the right way.
Well, you prepare for a season because obviously you're on the precipice of it. I had to use that. That's a 10-letter word score for Scrabble.
Yeah.
But when you're in that situation, now it's like here. Now you're knocking on the door.
Yes.
Because now the next level is, okay, we start our first practice, and then we get scrimmages, and we get the game. I'm sure it just doesn't beat it, just to be this excited, to be this close to the start.
It's not. It is. It's quicker than we think. We're a little less than 3 weeks away, and it's. You're right. It will be here before we know it, and really, we'll be through the season before we know it, and that's a crazy thing. Time flies.
And then you'll be back here next year because we'll be
absolutely.
doing this again.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right.
Well, Coach Leonard, thank you, sir.
Hey,
you're awesome. Always enjoy
you,
seeing you.
I appreciate
you. The man.
Yes.
And of course, the Staunton River Golden Eagles. They're going to get the season started at Magna Vista in a playoff rematch coming up on August the 25th. As we have Friday Night Blitz Media Days, we get you ready for the 2023 season.
So, coming off of last year, how confident do you guys feel going into this year?
I think we're very confident. We got a big season ahead. Bringing a lot of people coming back. So I think we got a big head, our big heads, and just gotta come and play as best we can.
Tell me about that playoff run. You guys showed what you could do, but you guys just came just short. I mean, how frustrating was that? But how do you take that as motivation?
Yeah, so I didn't get to play in the playoffs. Unfortunately, I had a hand injury. So, my teammates, I seen them grinding every week, week in, week out. So I know they were very frustrated. I was frustrated having to sit on the sidelines, watch, So, I mean, I feel like we're going to come in, I'm going to come in, being ready to play week 1 Magna Vista, not getting to play in that playoff game. So, I feel like I'm going to be able to get to help my team a lot being injured,
When did you injure your hand?
It was week 6 or 7 against Northside. I tore everything in my ring finger on my left hand. So, yeah, it was rough, man.
Was that extra motivating for you then to have to sit out? Because you feel like you probably could have done something in those games, right?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I definitely could have helped a lot, but you got to do what you got to do to be able to play in your next 2 years. Can't just risk everything.
Yeah, of course. What's the off season been like for you?
Really just trying to get back in shape, trying to get back to the strength I was last season. Trying to just improve, just best I could.
How's that going? At this point, you still got a couple weeks until.
Yeah, a couple weeks we got.
Camp.
Yeah, so strength's almost there,
Okay.
all the way back. I'm never gonna really gain everything back in my hands. So, but I'll just try to. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, put it all out there. Let's talk about you as a football player. How did you fall in love with this sport?
I think just like the relationships you make throughout playing football your whole life, makes you want to play it. I mean, and just the love for the game, I guess.
Yeah. When did you start?
I was about the 2nd grade, got into it again because all my friends and everything was playing it. So.
It's almost like everyone else is playing football, so you just kind of.
Yeah, I was like, screw it, I'll go play.
Was there a specific aspect about the game besides the hitting, and then besides just hanging out with your friends that really kept you in it? Like, when did you kind of realize this was something you could really be good at?
About when I was 4th grade, I thought I could be a really good football player, so I just stuck with it, let my coaches coach me and everything, and just kept playing, just kept coming back.
Do you feel like now that you're going into your junior year, you're going to start to really see things pay off for you, all that work you've been putting in for years?
I think I really could help see things pay off this coming season, Just got to keep working, though. Just got to keep coming back. Just got to get everybody in the weight room.
Yeah. You didn't want to wrestle with these guys?
No.
It's not for everyone.
I always told them if I would have been here with them ever since they were younger, I probably would have wrestled. But moving here 6th grade, I'd always played basketball, so I just stuck with it.
When you see a team like that in wrestling do what they just did, and you know that a lot of them are going to play football, what does that do to, your confidence about what this team can do?
It definitely motivates me to, just help out in any way we could, bring those kids in, try to win a state title just like they did.
Yeah, does it inspire you a little bit, being like, well, these guys can do it on the mat?
Definitely. Yeah. Just you want to do what your friends just did back in December, whatever it was. Just.
Yeah. The conversations that you're all having, it sounds like you know how good you guys are. It's time to make a statement. What kind of statement do you think you guys can make right from the start of the season?
We can definitely come in and make a lot of noise this season, I think. Bringing a whole team back almost, losing probably 7 seniors that played. So we need to make a big impact to start out week 1 and going in to start the Blue Ridge District gameplay, so all that.
Tell me about Staunton River football, just as a culture. You guys are pretty tight-knit, that whole school community is pretty tight-knit. What's special about playing Staunton River football?
Going out every Friday night, you just know everybody that's in the stands. So, because you live near everybody. And then, we're just a hard-nosed football team. We're going to run to the wall about 20, 30 times a game, just run it down your throat.
What's that support, out in the stands where, everyone knows everyone? What has that support meant to you guys over the last couple of years?
Means a whole lot, when you got your friends, family, people that you know all around the community to come out every Friday night and watch you play.
Camp's about to start in a couple weeks. The work really starts there. What's some of the things that's at the top of your list when it comes to things you got to work on before that season starts?
Got to work on
everything, but
yeah, we got to work on getting everybody there first of all. everybody's got to show up, put in the work, and then just got to work on week 1.
How far do you think this team can go?
I think we're a state championship team. You know, we got, like I said, almost everybody returning. Got a lot of great football players on our team that could really do a lot of stuff as they go on.
Yeah. Anything else? I'm good. Yeah. I'm good, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Your junior year. So, how do you feel going into your junior year?
I'm excited. You know, it's a big year, obviously, but you know, I've started since I was a freshman, so just really excited to keep what we've had going. You made the playoffs both years, but made it a little deeper run last year, and hoping to make a really big run this year. So.
Talk about last year as a whole, just overall. Like, how do you feel like your team did through all the ups and downs, and like what do you take away from that?
Right. Yeah, I think we started off a little slow. Had some games that we wish we could have had back, obviously, but I think at the bye week is really when everything kind of changed for us, and we started playing a lot better ball, definitely. And then the playoffs hit, knocked off the 2 seed in the region, and then really Christiansburg, we were technically down 7-0 at half, with that pick 6 made it 14-0, but we felt like we were right in that game and just are right there, just on the cusp of being a really good team, a state team. So.
Was that really frustrating though? Like,
oh, gosh.
To go toe to toe with what's become a powerhouse in this area, and then to just fall a little short.
Exactly. Yeah, it just felt like we couldn't get anything going on the offensive side of the ball really that game, but definitely felt like defense held up. The game plan was great for really both sides of the ball, but defense really executed well, and just offense couldn't really get anything going. But
how does a loss like that motivate you guys going into this year?
Oh, it definitely motivated us a lot. We lost some guys. There were pretty key positions, but we pretty much returned like the whole defense, like 9 of 11 guys. So I think we're just super excited to get things going. The offense really, we'll have it for 2 years now. We've kind of changed offenses. Freshman year we had a different offense. Last year we had a different offense, but this year we're sticking with the same offense. So I think that'll help things a lot.
How big is that to have that kind of experience coming back, that you don't really have to build too much during camp in a couple weeks?
Right. It's huge. Because offense, we really didn't get clicking until the bye week. That's really when our offense started clicking a little bit. And defense was fine because we had the same kind of scheme, but offense really started clicking there, and now I feel like a lot of our stuff, our bread and butter stuff, is pretty much set in stone. So
do you guys feel like you can hit the ground running then? Like, I mean, you guys start off with Magna Vista, you got Jefferson Forest, and Liberty. Like, you guys feel like you won't have to wait until the bye week?
Exactly right. So I think the PH scrimmage is going to be big because they're just really tough. But that's going to be one of those that's like that'll really test us early, and I feel like that'll be a great test before that Magna Vista game. We got to go to Magna Vista. I really feel like that'll be a tough one, but I think we get a big win there, and that'll really get us going for sure.
All right, let's talk about just you as a football player. So how did you fall in love with the sport?
I've been playing since I was 5. My dad, he coached our rec team. I started growing up, and then we've all of us have really played together. We've had like 6 or 7 guys that are starting on the offense, actually both sides of the ball, that have played together since they were little. Graduated some guys that have played with us since we were young, but yeah, just I've loved football ever since I was 5 years old. But big into wrestling. I won a state title this year at 165 pounds, but yeah, football is just my other sport. Go out and have fun.
That's why your name was familiar.
Yes, sir.
Because you were one of like the 30 people I was trying to track down at the Salem Civic Center.
That's right.
Oh, how do you just won? How's it feeling? Like,
Yeah,
all,
exactly.
Like, sweating and bloodied and all that.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll get back to wrestling in just a second.
Yeah.
But what was it about the sport that, I mean, besides the hitting, which I know is everyone's favorite, but
Right.
What was it about the sport that just kept you coming back?
Yeah, I think just the love of the game, but I feel like just all my friends doing it. I've had that's where I still my friends to this day. That's where I met them through the sport. So I feel like that kind of camaraderie has really kept me going and kept me playing, and that's really just been a great thing to have, in our area too. So.
So this past year, it wasn't just you, obviously. Like y'all you didn't just win state titles, but you guys went nuts, like
Right.
on the mat. What was that like for you when you look back on that whole experience? For you, not just winning a state title, but so many of your guys winning state titles. I mean, what was that like to be a part of?
It was awesome. It was amazing. I mean, it was the first team title we've had at St. River in, 30 years. So it was crazy. Just kind of, we knew it could happen. We just didn't, know it was going to happen like that. But, it's something we had been working for since we were 4 and 5 years old. And a lot of those guys also play football too, so it was really, really good to have that. So.
There's such a unique mentality for a wrestler. Can you take me kind of into the mind of a wrestler, and also like how some of that does play a role into how you can play on the football field?
I think just that toughness that you gain from being on the mat, working out all the time, 2-3 times a day, really. I think it teaches you resilience, and that kind of never say die attitude. That's kind of what I have. That's how I play ball, and that's how I wrestle too. So I just kind of go out and play and have fun with it. But at the same time, you're gonna hit me every play, but I'm not gonna stop coming back. So.
Is there an equivalent in football to when like you're going into the third period, you are tired as hell, and but you just have to hold on for like a couple more minutes? Is there an equivalent to that?
Oh yeah. Fourth quarter, definitely. Fourth quarter comes around, we're kind of tired, especially me playing both ways, and same with Parker, but. Playing both ways, really not getting a break. That fourth quarter comes around, it's a tight game. A lot of those last year, definitely. Some that we wish we could have back too, that really could have helped our record a lot. We could have went 8-2, I feel like, last year. But some of those games, fourth quarter, we were actually leading and didn't, pull out the win. But I think that fourth quarter mentality of just, not giving up, like you said, the wrestling part of it, just kind of digging deep.
What kind of confidence does a state title in wrestling, both the team and for you individually, what kind of confidence does that give you guys going into a football season? Because you said there's some overlap there. I
think it's just the winning aspect of it. I don't like losing, so I feel like everything that I do every day, whether it's wrestling, whether it's football, whether it's lifting, whether it's just running sprints, whatever it is, I feel like I don't want to lose, and I feel like that'll really help the entire team, just get to that mindset, and that'll be really big for us.
What are some of the goals that you guys have been talking about that you have for this year?
I think, we want to go undefeated. We want to win the region, win the district, and win a state title. I mean, that's ultimately the goal that everybody sets for themselves, but I really don't feel like it's too far off for us. We've had most of us have started since we were freshmen, so it's like a really good junior class, and, we have 2 years to make it happen. I really feel like we think we can do it, as a team, and we have some guys that could really make some plays for us this year. So,
the senior class, how big is that class?
None.
Oh,
we have
okay,
we have
I was about to ask.
We have one guy. Or 2 guys. I think Mayhew and Luger, right? I think those are our only 2 guys graduating this year, and really they haven't really been any workouts yet. So I mean, they haven't really been incorporated into the game plan. But we don't graduate a lot, and we'll return. Mostly everybody next year. So the team that you'll see this year will pretty much be the same team for 2 years in a row.
So among the juniors, like coming off of that game against Christiansburg where you were able to go toe-to-toe for a while, I mean, you guys must have big dreams that for these, like not just for this year, but for the next 2 years.
Oh,
right?
Definitely. Yeah, huge dreams. I mean, we've talked about it for a while, but yeah, definitely state title is something that we want really, really bad. And I think we have some teams that we want to get back. Botetourt, they put it on us our freshman year. It was like 70-7 or something. It was crazy. But last year we brought it back. It was like 21-14 at half and just couldn't hold on late. But I think this year, we're going to be coming for them, coming for, all the teams in the district, Franklin County, who lost a bunch of guys. So just we're just ready to compete. I definitely feel like.
Do you guys feel like you might be going into the season as kind of a dark horse to a lot of people, like maybe kind of under the radar, like ready to make some noise?
Definitely. I feel like we're really underrated. I think last year they kind of we were the 7th seed in the region, weren't expected to really do anything. Because we had a pretty tough schedule, I felt like. I felt like we played some really good teams. But I think, we came off of a really shaky start, and I feel like we got going later. So that's kind of why our record didn't look so good. But I think, we're a team that could really make some noise, definitely.
So what kind of statement do you think you guys can make just right off the bat? Like week 1, we see the scoreline and we're like, whoa. Like, I mean,
right.
That's probably what you're thinking about, right? Like,
Exactly.
What kind of statement do you guys want to make from week 1?
Oh, we want to put it on Magna Vista because it was pretty close last year in the playoff game, but I think they don't lose a lot. We didn't lose a whole lot, so it should be a pretty good game. But I feel like we want to prove that we're that much better than them. We put that much more work in the off season, and then really just set the tone for the year. That's a really big game on the road, week 1. So I think that's a big one for sure.
I like that storyline. Anything else? I feel like we got the gist of it.
Yeah, I think so.